Hi everybody, it's Alex. Today we're gonna compare the Yonex Ezone 98, the Yonex Vcore 98, and the Yonex Vcore Pro 97D. Let's go! So I really wanted to make those comparisons between all the three Yonex rackets. And one of the most common questions that I get from Yonex fan is what is the difference between the Ezone and the Vcore, and between the Vcore and the Vcore Pro. So we're gonna answer all those questions in that video, so stay tuned. Alright, so let's start with the Yonex Ezone 98. So like you can see in the name it says 98, so it's a 98 square inch head size with a 305 gram unstrung weight, and the string pattern is 16 by 19. Then for the Yonex Vcore 98, it's a 98 square inch head size racket with a 305 gram unstrung weight, and you have a 16 by 19 string pattern. So the same thing as the Yonex Ezone. The difference are gonna be in the length of the beam. So a bit wider for the Ezone and a bit tinier for the Vcore. And then you have the Vcore 97D. And I'm sorry, I really wanted to make the review with the Vcore 97, but it wasn't available at the store, so I picked the 97D. The 97D is a 320 unstrung weight racket with a 18 by 20 string pattern, and it's a 97 square inch head size. Now, let's go on the court, let's see what I think about those rackets. Let's start with the Yonex Ezone 98. I have to say that this racket is really powerful, but you still have a bit of control because you feel that the racket is solid, and that's something that is really important. If you have a powerful racket, it needs to be stable, and I feel like the decision of Yonex to make this racket being 305 gram is the perfect decision because the racket is so stable, it's so easy to use, and it's personally one of my favorite racket that I've reviewed so far. The Vcore 98 is still a solid racket. You really feel that Yonex really think about his racket and are not really seeing, something that is bad. I feel like this one can put a bit more spin and has a bit more control when you're playing with it. And you really need to be aware of your technique when you're doing it. So if you have the wrong technique and you're hitting a shot, this could be a bad thing for you. But other than that, yeah, just a solid racket overall. And now, the Yonex Vcore Pro 97D is really obviously different. It's a bit more control oriented. You need to put a bit more efforts to put the ball on the other side of the court. It has a bit less spin because it's a 18 by 20. But, it's still a really solid racket and a really fun racket to play with. So yeah, overall just solid racket. Yonex are doing incredibly well with their racket, and they're really in the top in terms of selling his racket, and it's easy to understand why they're so good. Alright, so if I have to pick one Yonex racket out of them, I would say first of all, it was so tight between those three rackets. It's three incredible rackets, so I highly recommend, if you're a Yonex fan and you really know that you want a Yonex racket, consider to demo all of those three rackets together, because you're really gonna feel the difference. So the difference between the Ezone and the Vcore, the Ezone is a bit more powerful. It's a bit easier to get a flat shot. The Vcore has a bit more control, a bit more spin to it, I feel. And finally, the Vcore Pro is a bit more control oriented, a bit more for advanced players that really want to seek for control. My favorite racket out of the three, I would say would be the Yonex Ezone, and then would go the Vcore, and then the Vcore Pro. And I'm kind of surprised, to be honest. I thought that the order of my pick would be like the Vcore Pro, the Vcore, and the Ezone, but it's the opposite, so I'm kind of surprised. Let me know in the comment if you have tried those rackets and what you think about those rackets. Also, you can comment what you want to see as a comparison for the next video. Don't forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe, and see you next time. Bye-bye.